Hello, and thank you, everyone. There are many people who want to be successful, but not that many people can actually achieve success. Only 1% of the people become wealthy and rich. Even after you diligently prepare for 30 years, and then do your best to live well for another 30 years, why do 95% of the people still fail? And out of the remaining 5%, only 1% are truly successful. This actually happens because you don't know the law of success. The law of success isn't called a law because someone decided that it was one. It's a law because it's a universal principle that has been predetermined, like the law of nature, the law of farming, and the true north principle. If you abide by these laws, you'll be successful. And if you don't, you will inevitably fail. Now, when you look at what a farmer does first, he actually thinks about how much of what to harvest. Likewise, one of ATOMY's mottos is create the vision, which means you think about the life you want to live. Plan out your objectives, and you imagine what your life will be like when you achieve this anywhere from 3 to 5 years later, by playing that thought in your mind like a movie. Just like how the farmer, he thinks about how much of what to harvest. You need to plan your objectives in a similar manner. So, a farmer decides on 10 bags of rice. He would know how many bags of rice seeds, the number of rice patties he'll need, the amount of money, the number of workers, and anything else that he needs. Once the farmer has it in his mind of how much of what to harvest, he will be able to determine what exactly is needed. This process has been accepted and is used on a wider scale in business management, for companies, and for governments. At the end of the year, governments make a report regarding their budget plans for the following year. Companies also create a budget plan for the following year as well. Also, they plan their midterm and long-term goals as well. This process has become accepted and is known as an MBO. It stands for Management by Objective. You can think of MBO as defining objectives within an organization and not managing the objectives. They are managed by the goals and objectives. If you're promoted to a managerial level in a big company, you would go to a standards association or a management headquarters, and you learn about the management process for about a week. They basically only teach about the MBO and how it can be utilized in each person's department. All these people think about is their annual sales goals, the number of people needed to achieve them, each person's total sales, and the profit they will make at the end of the new year. These thoughts are gathered at the beginning of the year, and then they figure out how they will accomplish these goals. When you go to a bookstore, there are many books related to success. However, all of these books say that if you set your objectives, create definite goals, find clear ways to achieve those goals, and constantly follow through on those methods, you will be able to achieve them. It is of utmost importance to set clear and definite goals. Live well, love, learn, and contribute in life. Should not only be your basis in determining our goals, but also be clear and definite in your minds. You can't just say, I want a nice car. Instead, you need to say, I want a white or a gray BMW. You need to be able to decide if you want a 3 Series, 5 series, 7 series, or an M series. You also need to know if it's 67,000 or 115,000. If you want the car, you need to know the details and not just a good car. The car that you want has to be engraved in your mind with clarity. You have to envision in your mind the house that you want to live in. The clearer and more definite it is, the more likely your body will change in response to it. You have to set your goals, that if you were to achieve them, you would go crazy with happiness. These goals will provide you with the motivation you need, where you will do whatever it takes to live that kind of life. These goals shouldn't be just about yourself. Your loved ones need to be the foundation. Your goals should be about wanting your wife to live without worrying about money, writing a ledger, or even worrying about living expenses. They should include wanting to be able to give her $30,000 a month. Becoming a husband that she respects, is grateful for, and would marry again if given the chance. When wives are asked if they would marry their husbands again, 67% said they didn't want to. So men, we really need to get our acts together. Since the statistics came out like this, you need to do your best to become a person that your spouse would love to marry again. You have to become a parent whom your children can be proud of. And they respect you so much, you become the best parent in the world. Wouldn't it be great to be in a position where your children admire you? Instead of getting acknowledged and getting respect from others, it's more important and meaningful to receive it from your loved ones. That will bring you more joy. You should make your kids say, "I want to become like my parents." This is all possible if you just put your mind to it. I need to become a husband who she can be proud of and respect. I need to do whatever it takes, even if I have to die, to be that kind of man. If it's for them, I don't mind the hardships. If my loved ones can be assured a great life and that they will be able to live a happy and comfortable life, I'm ready to sacrifice my own life for them. You would eventually realize that you yourself are the happiest when you live that way. We make goals with visible things, like a nice house or a car and funds for yourself and for your family's retirement. But what's the point if you're just going to live in that house by yourself? It would be very lonely and cold, right? The house that you need is only great because you would be able to live together with your loved ones. If you have a nice car, but no one to show it to, then what good is having things like a car? You only need it because of those loved ones. Instead of driving that nice car by yourself, you get a sense of happiness. When your children say things like, "Wow, Dad, that is such a great car," you need to be successful for the people that you love and hold dear. However, the only way you could be successful and live well until now, especially during the industrial age, were with the opportunities that came to you if you were smart, clever, and good at studying. During that time, those who knew more would control those who didn't. You had to study well. Currently, in the information age, you don't need to know everything. That's very fortunate, right? ATOMY is the essence of the information age. because it utilizes everything that defines the information industry. With this business, you don't really need to study a lot, because success doesn't really require you to be studious. Becoming a crown master has nothing to do with your educational background. If you look at it from another perspective, you have been given a new hope. You also don't need to have money. With the recent advancement of the industrial age, everyone was able to equally begin from the same starting line. Everyone could become successful with just the clothes on their backs, because no one started with money and you could earn it simply by working hard. However, nowadays, you can't make money just by working hard, nor by being good at whatever it is you do. When it seems like you're doing better, there's always a person with more money who looks at what businesses are doing well and then makes something bigger and better right next door to them. For example, what if someone opened a restaurant not to make money, but to invite people they know, to have a place for their friends to meet? If you compare a person who did it as a hobby and someone who put everything into it to make money, the difference in their starting line would be incomparable. So there is a lot of social inequality. Nowadays, this has become much more severe. Before, it was explained with the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, which states that 20% of the people had 80% of the money and the 80% only had 20%. However, it has become so severe that this ratio has become almost 1:99. It's not fully there yet, but it's headed in that direction, where 1% of the people basically have 99% of the money, while the remaining 99% only has 1%. Once it reaches this point, it's impossible to come back. It could have been different if the 1% took it using foul play, but they accumulated that with hard work. The only thing that I don't agree upon is not circulating the money. Whether or not they circulate it might be morally wrong, but it is completely legal. That's their decision, so just leave it at that. So what should the 99% do? The thought should be, we won't come to you. We'll just deal with it ourselves. The 1% actually made money because the 99% allowed them to. In a sense, the 99% have become the losers. If that's the case, why not allow the 99% to begin at the same starting line, and then allow them to compete? That is the Atome business. Thus, you don't need any money. No capital is necessary for this business. It actually becomes harder if you do have money. You don't need any knowledge. An educational background is not required. Nor should you let your knowledge run free either. All you need to do is follow the system, because nothing else will work here. The ways of the world don't work with this business. Before coming here, you might have been told to buy $5,000 worth of products and go around spreading the news. Yet, if you followed this method, you're bound to fail here. You need to thoroughly follow the Atome way. Once you join, you need to learn the concepts from scratch. Just because you're smart elsewhere doesn't mean you're smart here. Everyone who does this business will all begin at the same starting line. And it becomes a new opportunity for you. This business, however, is not just simply making money to live well. It not only guarantees your retirement, but can also be inherited by your children. So you can really become rich. If your children want to work for a salary, you should stop them. That is the shortcut to a failed life. No matter how successful they are as an employee, that is a failed life. Why? Because the company will kick them out when they turn 50 or 60. How are they going to survive 30 more years after that? That is an absolutely failed life. I quit after 17 years as an employee. That is why you must do your own business. To do other business, you need to have some special skill, experience, or capital. However, with the Atome business, You don't need those things. It's because it has a system where you only need to invite people to these seminars. All in all, the Atome Business is a means to escape poverty and a ladder that allows you social mobility. Even if you don't have the ability to manage a group, it doesn't matter if your sponsor is smart or not, because the leaders join together to make the system work, and they help you. It doesn't matter if you don't have any abilities. Everyone can be successful. Your only condition is to have faith. The first thing you need to do is believe in yourself. If you decided that this is a great and low-priced product, then you need to believe that your decision is correct. If you feel that everything you heard was right, you need to trust your judgment. You also need to push forward. This is what belief is all about. You can only be successful if you have a strong conviction. All of you will have now done your life scenario for a balanced life. To take that and make it into a vivid movie in your mind is not an easy task. You need to continuously refine all the details. You must have a clear and definite goal in your mind, and this goal needs to be above and beyond your current reality. After that, you have to actualize your goals into reality. Without goals, you won't be able to change your current situation. You need to set goals that are beyond your current reality, and that you can be crazy about, and that you can even die for. You should live a life full of happiness with your loved ones. I hope all of you become successful, and I will conclude on that note. Thank you for listening.